What do Jennifer Lawrence, Denzel Washington, and Zendaya all have in common? Well, yes, they're insanely talented, but they also have entire teams of people working around the clock to keep their careers humming. And here's the kicker: you rarely see any of it. Today, I'll share what your favorite actors aren't telling you and why knowing this could change the way you approach your own career. This is Casting Actors Cast.
Casting actors cast, what a show! With Jeffrey Dreisbach, we're ready to go. From agents to geeks, learn what you lack. Tune in every week, we're bringing you back.
We're going to kick off the show right after this. Well, hello. Ever wonder what it's really like when your acting career starts to take off? You see, we tend to imagine red carpets, magazine covers, and endless applause. But there is so much happening behind the curtain that nobody talks about. On this episode, I'm pulling back the velvet rope. You see what I did just there? To reveal the hidden machinery that keeps your favorite actors' careers running. From publicists and personal assistants to managers and social media specialists. These behind-the-scene players can make or break an actor's momentum. If you're training or dreaming of your next big break, this episode is for you. So we'll talk about the realities of making it. And also, trust me, it's not always what you think. So get ready for a fun, surprising, and eye-opening ride. But first, this is that moment of the podcast where I simply get to say thank you so much for tuning into Casting Actors Cast. It's been a pleasure bringing you these episodes. I invite you to check out the website, castingactorscast.com, all one word, Casting Actors Cast. There you're going to find all kinds of cool information about the podcast. There's a place that you can sign in, called Dive into the Talent Pool. It's just a short form. It asks for your name and email address. By the way, I don't do anything with that other than an occasional, announcement about an upcoming episode, something like that. But I don't spam you or sell your list or do anything like that, so please rest assured. It's just a way for me getting some feedback that you're out there and you're interested in continuing to partake in what I have to share. Also, on the website, my book is out, Booked It, the Actor's Playbook for Getting Cast. You're going to find a course as well that's available, all about auditioning. And there's all just stuff. I mean, you can see the archives. There's a blog called Jeff's Jots. There's kind of cool stuff there. All of that absolutely free, doesn't cost you anything, but I would really appreciate any feedback that you could give us. And also, if you wouldn't mind giving me a like or a share or a thumbs up. Of course, you have to hear the episode first before you let me know that. Okay, so that's where we are. And I guess we should just jump into this, right? So I think we have to separate the myth from the reality of what we're talking about when your career reaches a certain level. See, many actors in training right now, they imagine that their talent is enough. And so if you're a young person and you're saying, gosh, I'm studying really hard, I'm working really hard at my craft, and I feel like I'm really good at what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to grow my talent, you know what? It's not enough. Because in reality, when your career scales upward, in other words, more work starts coming into your world, infrastructure becomes essential. What do I mean by infrastructure? Well, let's just take the example that most actors, they have support networks that are invisible to the public. For example, even movie stars like Timothée Chalamet, they have PR teams behind their what we call natural appearances. That's absolutely true. And so what you think you might need versus what you actually need might be a little bit different. And so as your career grows, this becomes much more valuable information. Like, for example, let's talk the role of the publicists. Publicist. The publicist for actors, boy, they come in all shapes and sizes, and there are all kinds of varying degrees of companies that are out there, but they help shape the narrative of your career. They do things like secure magazine interviews. They manage your red carpet image, and they spin stories when scandals erupt. That's a biggie. Because of today's technology, word gets out about actors, and everybody likes to kind of get into their stuff. But guess what? You need a public relations firm who is ready and available should any of those things come to fruition. So here's an example for, I like to think of Robert Downey Jr. What an incredible actor he is, Robert Downey Jr. He reinvented himself. He had gone through some personal issues. I don't want to rehash all of that, but you know what? His PR team carefully managed his comeback so that he is in a position now to do the amazing roles like Iron Man. That might not have happened had it not been for his public relations team kind of cleaning up what was being said about him and his work. So here's what I call a surprise factor. You might be surprised to know that even social media, for example, casual selfies, when you see those from A-list actors, they are often vetted. They're often pre-planned. It's not as spontaneous or off the cuff as you might think. Moving on from there, from public relations folks, we need to talk about managers and managers versus agents from this perspective. Agents will continue to be part of your professional career as your career grows. But in my experience, agents seem to focus more on the work side of things, the contracts, potential auditions, maybe meetings, things like that. They also really critically, they negotiate the contract once you've booked the job. So their skill set is very specialized in those areas. While managers, on the other hand, they seem to focus on your career. For example, long-term. They strategize how you're going to grow your brand. They strategize your brand itself. And I think that managers, especially the good managers, the better managers that are out there, they provide overall direction, is what I call career development. And so that manager has a very important task in front of them. And that is to really grow a career, to almost strategize the roles that the actor plays. For example, let's take an example. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. He has a manager who is often way more influential than his agent, guiding film choices and business ventures and media appearances. Those are all something that his manager seems to be in control of. But there is also a surprise factor. Many actors secretly will rely on their managers more than their agents because of that career development aspect. Managers are also somebody who you can bounce ideas off of. It's not just about, should I take this role? It's also about, does this do what I want it to do for my career right now? Oftentimes, our office, when we are working on a film project, for example, we will choose to go to a manager first in order to distribute a script in the hopes that the actor is going to read the script and perhaps like it. So managers are the gatekeeper of those kinds of professional contacts as well. But also, good managers, they know a lot of people in the business that can be very helpful to actors in terms of setting up meetings or packaging several actors together for a particular project. That's all happening behind the scenes with managers. Now, let's just, I just hit my microphone. Let's dive into the secret world. It's kind of a secret world of personal assistants. You know what? They're not just grabbing coffee. Good personal assistants will organize schedules, they will prep scripts, they'll read scripts and make recommendations. They'll do even personal errands, but they also are in charge of transportation. They are in charge of simply taking care of the talent so that they aren't burdened or bothered by those day-to-day tasks that we might find burdensome. Here's an example. Like I said, assistants often will read scripts first. And what they do is then they flag what's worth the actor's attention. This role is really good for you, or this is exactly right, or guess what? You've played this role before. Is that something you want to do again? So having that kind of support system in the form of a personal manager is absolutely essential for sure. And you know what? There's a surprise factor here. Some assistants are trusted more than managers because you know what? They're dealing with you, the successful actor, 24/7. The next personnel that might be considered when your career reaches a certain level is the social media specialist. And we're going to give you more information and details right after this. Welcome back. So we're talking about what happens behind the scenes for those actors who are in a very excellent position with their careers. They're pretty much well known. They pretty much have the need to have a support system that oftentimes many people don't know about. The other one that I teased with before we took the commercial break was social media specialists. Their job is maintaining an online brand. And guess what? That's a full-time job right now. For example, celebrities like Ryan Reynolds and Reese Witherspoon, they've curated online personas. And this isn't just by accident. Here's a surprise factor. You know what? A tweet or TikTok or any of the social media correspondence that you're seeing from those kinds of celebrities pretty much might be written by a specialist and not the actor. All right, moving on from there, I want to just chat a little bit about how that affects actors and what I call the lifestyle shift. See, once the team grows, the actor's life becomes much more about spontaneity and more about management. And that can be frustrating for a lot of actors. It can be that suddenly you have a whole bunch of people on a payroll that you might have to think about. Travel, contracts, interviews, appearances, all have to be coordinated. So here's a surprise factor. Actors sometimes feel less free after success because of those obligations, something really worth taking a look at. So I also want to share that the actor will many times form their own production company, for example. So all of those players might be hired behind the scenes in the actor's own production company. Many well-known actors have productions. Why? Well, sometimes that production company might be in charge of assembling a film project to sell to studios, for example. And there are many people that are behind the scenes for that production company helping the actor. Because of all of these different media areas that need to be attended to, a production company is also something that you might have to consider. So if you're training now, or listen, if you're just getting started, understand the bigger picture here. Making it means what? Navigating a machine. It's not just chasing auditions when it gets to a certain point. Also, career markers that you might be needing a management input or team or even an assistant is what I call, and I'm a little bit, I don't know, this is weird, but I'm a little bit confused sometimes about this, and I'll share this with you, but there have been many times when we want an actor to come in and be considered for a particular role, whether it's theater, film, or television project. And the agent will return, oh, their offer only. So that means that the likelihood that they have a lot of material out there in terms of roles that they've played or work that they've performed, that they're at a level of their career that they simply do not need to audition anymore. So hopefully you know where I'm going with this. There are some agents out there that will say, you know, that's an offer-only client of mine, meaning we just have to make an offer. But I have found as of late that that is something that agents will sort of use more frequently, even when it might not be warranted. If there's not enough material, if there's only one sort of character in their reel, do you understand? It really is disconcerting sometimes. But we are also, the casting director then has a comeback and says, oh, well, they won't be considered if it's offer only, because the director needs to really see them, because it's a very, very different role than they're used to playing. That sometimes works, but not always. I think there's an answer here for actors, and that's building strong professional habits. Doing that early is really great. Networking, being comfortable, asking questions, and demonstrating resilience, that sets you up for those opportunities. And when those opportunities arrived, don't be shocked when that team suddenly appears around you, because guess what? You're going to be ready. Now, you don't just suddenly hire people. You end up through word of mouth as far as becoming an assistant. That's usually word of mouth. It's rarely that would be a job posting, but I have seen job posting for assistants to celebrities. But it's an inside kind of network that you will need to become comfortable with. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just about feeling ready and being ready. So here's what my call to action. The next time you scroll past your favorite actor's Instagram or you see them on a red carpet, remember, there's a crew of people you'll never see making it all happen. And one day, if you stick with it, that crew might be working for you. Until then, I want you to focus on your craft, your discipline, and your mindset, the foundation of any great career. Thank you so much. Please share this episode, subscribe, and listen, reflect on how those people that you might want to share this with, how they might prepare themselves for the business side of acting. I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach. You've been watching and listening Casting Actors Cast. We'll see you next time.
It's been great having you in our talent pool today. Your support means the world to us, so please consider sharing, liking, and reviewing this episode wherever you jump in. I'm Megan Grace Martinez. Thanks.
From monologues to